Hello everybody and welcome to Brain Attack Music. As you can see, I'm in my studio doing a bit of writing, or at least trying to do a bit of writing, and it struck me that I may have reached a bit of a plateau when it comes to writing music for the Brain Attack Music project. And it got me thinking about plateaus with regard to stroke recovery. And I remember as a young man, before I learned to drive, I would do quite a lot of travelling on the train from where I lived to where most of my friends lived. And I don't know if you've done much travelling on the train, but you're on the station platform, there's a train next to you, and all of a sudden that train starts moving backwards. But actually it's not. It's your train starting to move forwards. But it gives the illusion that the other train that you can see through the window is moving backwards. And it's purely the relative movement of the two trains. And you might be thinking, what has that got to do with writing music for your Brain Attack Music project, or indeed Plateaus, with regard to stroke brain injury recovery? I'll tell you. There's a lot of discussion about, is there such a thing as a plateau when it comes to our recovery? And my feeling about this is very much from one person's perspective, that is to say, not our perspective, but somebody else's perspective. They may look at us and think, yeah, they've not really improved very much over the past few weeks. Maybe they've plateaued. But that's only from their perspective. We know, don't we, that brain injury recovery, stroke recovery, takes a long time and is slow. So if we've got a very gentle incline slope that we're slowly moving up, to an outside observer that might look like it's level and we're hardly moving. It might look like a plateau. But to us, we're still fighting like crazy to get up that very small, shallow slope, that small incline. We're fighting like crazy to get up it. But maybe measuring our progress in weeks isn't enough, because we won't see much progress in the same way that the external person looking at us saying, well, they've actually not made much progress this week. Yeah, we probably haven't. But have we made much progress over the previous few months? Yeah, we probably have. So it's a question of relativity and a question of perspective. And like the train that appears to be moving backwards simply because the other train is moving forwards faster, for other people looking at us, they can be thinking, I think they've plateaued. So it might be that a physical therapist, a physiotherapist, excuse me, tells us that we've plateaued. That's only from their perspective. That's not from our perspective as the brain injury stroke survivor. Excuse me whilst I have a sip of my coffee. So I think we have to build that in and think about the timescales that we're measuring our progress over. Then another analogy that I would use would be, if we're trying to lose weight, there is a temptation to get on the scales every day. Is that a realistic way of measuring how we lose weight? Because we could be a pound heavier today than we were yesterday. It's not working, I'm putting weight on. But a day, in that context, isn't really a realistic time frame. Maybe weekly, maybe fortnightly would be the right way to weigh ourselves and to see if we're actually losing weight or not. And I would say to you, think about your own recovery and think about your own circumstances and think about what would be the right time frame for you to measure your progress by. I would suggest probably monthly at the least, maybe bi-monthly every 2 months, maybe 3 monthly, maybe quarterly, maybe longer. But you have to work out your own particular circumstances and think, actually, yeah, at this stage of my recovery, probably every couple of months. Where I'm at now, personally, 7.5 years, this is January 2021, in May it's going to be 8 years. But in my particular circumstances, yes, things have slowed up, but they haven't plateaued. But I look at 6-month chunks. So I look now back 6 months and see, have I made progress compared to how I was 6 months ago? And in what way? Is it with my memory? Is it with my cognitive ability? Is it how my speed of thought? So there's mental stuff as well as physical stuff. Am I walking a bit further? Not really. Am I a bit stronger when I walk? Yeah, probably. Is my balance better? No, jury's out on that one. So you have to measure your progress in different areas as well. If you get too fixated on one thing, that can hold you back. You have to look at the whole picture. You have to look at where you were when you first had your brain injury, when you first had your stroke, when you first left hospital, whatever. How were you then compared to how you were 6 months later, 6 months after that, 6 months after that, and review those timescales, because generally we make more progress in the early days than we do as time moves on. So maybe monthly is a good time span in the early stages of your recovery. Maybe then that has to shift out a bit to bi-monthly, quarterly, in my case 6 months. And it might be, as time goes on, for me I might have to revisit, so well, actually I'll just look at it every year, or I'll look at it every 9 months, or whatever. So I think the plateau thing can be a bit of a misnomer, can be a bit of a distraction from actually making progress. I haven't made much progress on this for quite some time. Have I plateaued? No, I don't think so. I've slowed. I've been doing other things like this YouTube channel and these videos, but I don't think I've plateaued. But people looking in will say, well, actually, you've done nothing for the past few weeks, Andy. You've plateaued. You've bottled out. You've lost it. You know, I'm looking at much longer time scales than that. So, a few thoughts for you there on plateaus. I'm going to get back to my coffee and have another go at doing something here. Take care. Look after yourselves. If you want to be notified of new videos when I post them, please click on the bell icon below, and also the subscribe icon. Doesn't cost anything, just means effectively you're in your my channel is in your favourites. But by clicking on subscribe and clicking on the bell icon, you'll be notified of new videos as and when they're posted. Thanks for watching. Look after yourselves. Take care.